Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
It's a nice crisp start to the day. We're seeing lots of sunshine. I'll show you how long we'll see this very pleasant fall-like weather. A vote is happening today on a $500 million plan that could have a big impact on families who want to send their kids to private school. Why some lawmakers want to fully back school vouchers and the opposition it's getting from others.
Some elementary school students in our area will be going through new security screening today. The safety measures Nash County schools are taking to try to keep weapons out.
The city of Raleigh is sharing information about its plans to move Red Hat Amphitheater. The questions some people still want answered and the chance to get those answers tonight. Good morning, everyone. It is 6 o'clock. Another question you may have is how long will we get to enjoy this Goldilocks weather? Well, we will enjoy it for sure today, and it'll make Monday a lot more manageable. I'm Renee Chu.
And I'm Jeff Hogan. Thanks for making us part of your Monday and part of your routine here every day. We will share all that information with you. Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center getting us started. A little chill in the air this morning. It's nice.
Yes, and look at this. The sun's just starting to light up the horizon, just barely there here in downtown Raleigh, looking absolutely beautiful. It's going to be a real pretty sunrise. There may be a little extra color, not because of clouds, but because of some wildfire smoke. And we're going to talk more about that coming up in just a little bit. But it's 55 degrees in the Triangle with a dew point of 53, so it feels very comfortable as you're stepping out the door. A little more chilly in Roxborough at 48, and then it's 59 in Clinton. So we do have a fairly wide range in temperatures. Most of us are sitting right around the mid-50s. And that's about 4 degrees cooler than this time yesterday in Raleigh, but 9 degrees cooler in Fayetteville. So a little light jacket might feel good this morning. Lovely day today. I mean, really hard to beat with highs in the low 80s with lots of sunshine. We'll warm up a little bit more later in the week, and then we'll end the week over the weekend with some rain that could be tropical in nature. We'll take a look coming up. Ken?
Elizabeth, at 6:01, we have a rather quiet start to a morning commute. We just have reports of some type of road hazard in the southbound lanes of Capitol Boulevard near Spring Forest Road. I've been noticing it for the last hour or so. It's causing a little bit of a delay there. If you're a little concerned about that, just head over to Atlantic Avenue as an alternate route, but all the other major roads are delay-free this morning. Speaking of which, I-40 and Wade Avenue, traffic has definitely picked up, but flowing nicely in both directions.
All right, we see Chris Levengood there. We'll get back to him in the Live Center in just a moment. Today, meantime, security will be increased as a precaution at several schools in Edgecombe and Nash counties. This comes after a student was charged for making threats on social media. Rocky Mount Middle School, Edwards Elementary School, West Edgecombe Middle, and J.W. Parker Middle Schools will all have more law enforcement presence today. Police say they charged a student after they traced an IP address associated with an Instagram account that posted those threats.
A person is seriously injured after a stabbing in Wendell. Officers were called to Boxley Drive around 7 last night, and police say 2 people got into an argument and one of them was stabbed. The WRAL Breaking News Tracker was there as police collected evidence near a vehicle. We have reached out to the Wendell Police Department for an update about the person who was stabbed and the effort to make an arrest.
Second time the charm here on the WRAL Live Center as we're getting you an update on a fire that Durham Fire reported to us not too long ago. Within the past 20 or so minutes, we finally have some information. This is an apartment complex that is on Campus Walk Avenue. That's where investigators say when they first arrived, just shy of 3:20 this morning, they found smoke coming from the 3rd floor of an apartment building there. Fire and water damaged 2 apartments on the 3rd floor, and at least 6 other apartments sustained some kind of water damage. And no one was injured. All people managed to escape, but now there are about 6 people that are unable to return home because of this.
Thanks, Chris. Today, nearly $500 million plan to give financial help to families sending their children to private schools could be moving forward in the General Assembly. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey joins us live from the state legislature, and Republican lawmakers want to fully fund private school vouchers. But Kelsey, this is getting some pushback.
Jeff, exactly. So today we'll find out if we're one step closer to the state helping 50,000 families get off a wait list for private school vouchers. And we'll see the state Senate here vote here in the legislative building in just a few hours. So this afternoon, the Senate will vote on a new budget that could impact your student. The Republican-backed budget includes $463 million for private school vouchers. But here's what all that means. Any North Carolina student will be eligible to receive funding for private school regardless of their family's income. Democrats don't support this plan. They say the money could be better used in public schools, pointing to issues like teacher and bus driver shortages.
I would imagine that most Democrats, if not all, will vote against this package. And like I said, Governor Cooper is likely to veto it, and then we'll see if Republicans have the votes to overturn that veto.
Vote on this on Wednesday, and Governor Cooper will have 10 days to veto this. So if you want a breakdown of what could happen next, just go to our website, WRAL.com, and click on NC Capitol. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
Democratic State Senator Jay Chaudhry plans to meet with educators before that vote. It's happening at 10 o'clock this morning in the Legislative Office building, and WRAL will be there.
Covering Wake County tonight, the city of Raleigh is inviting people to come forward with their questions about plans to move the Red Hat Amphitheater. WRAL's Laura Levine joins us live from outside the popular venue. And Laura, city leaders will vote next week on whether to move forward with these plans.
Renee, good morning. We are nearing the deadline of when city council members will have to make that tough decision, with that deadline coming up soon. In fact, here in downtown Raleigh, you'll see signs just like this reminding people about the public hearing and vote coming next Tuesday. So residents, local businesses, and even a city councilor I spoke with say there's still too many unanswered questions before then. Here's a look at the proposal once again. The city wants to move Red Hat Amphitheater a block south and to close South Street. Some local businesses support the project but want to make sure the amphitheater stays downtown. Meanwhile, some residents have shared concerns about connectivity issues and the impact the Red Hat relocation would have on a major renovation project for the Heritage Park public housing. Councilmember Christina Jones has this to say to those who are frustrated by this process.
My message would be, man, I totally understand how you're feeling, because it's exactly how I'm feeling. I understand deadlines, but I don't know with such an impactful decision that it's fair the amount of conversation that we've been able to have.
Yes, so she agrees that this process feels a bit rushed. However, she encourages people to come out to that community open house later tonight. That begins at 6 p.m. at the Martin Marietta Center. Laura Levine, WRAL News. We're live in Raleigh.
Starting today, students in Nash County will go through extra security measures as they arrive at school. Nash County Public Schools will begin using random metal detector screenings at all elementary schools. Each week, 1 out of every 10 students at each school will be randomly selected for these safety checks. The students will be selected regardless of whether they ride buses or are dropped off by car or walk to school. Schools will tell the number of students to be screened and whether any weapons or other prohibited items are found.
Today, Second Gentleman Doug Emhoff and Minnesota's First Lady Gwen Walz will make a stop in Raleigh. This comes after their visit to Asheville yesterday for the campaign's reproductive rights bus tour. We will release the results of an exclusive WRAL News poll on the presidential race today. Find out how North Carolina voters feel about the candidates and how they plan to vote. All week long, we'll have poll results on critical races and issues. Look for our presidential poll results starting today at 4 p.m.
Schools in central Kentucky are closed today as people are on high alert as authorities try to track down a man accused of shooting 5 people on I-75. This is the man they're searching for is Joseph Couch, and authorities believe he is in the woods somewhere near where his car was found, about an hour and 15 minutes southeast of Lexington off the highway there. But because of how thick the brush is, deputies had to hold off on the search overnight. Law enforcement is warning people to stay alert.
You need to lock your doors. You need to, if you have security cameras, make sure you're constantly watching them. Maybe keep your porch lights on. Have communication, have your cell phone, and make sure your phones are charged up, because you never know when you might have to contact somebody or law enforcement.
5 people were shot, 12 vehicles were hit by gunfire Saturday along the interstates. All 5 people are expected to survive.
There's new pressure on the Israeli government to reach a deal with Hamas after the largest demonstration since the war in Israel began. That demonstration happened last night in Tel Aviv. There were also demonstrations in Jerusalem and Haifa. People are demanding an agreement be reached to bring hostages home. American officials are trying another proposal to get Israel and Hamas on the same page. Reports indicate there are new disagreements about which Palestinian prisoners will be released for the Israeli captives.
First Sunday night football game of the season on NBC gave fans a little extra action. This one lasted until after 11:30 last night. Regulation just not enough to settle this one between the Detroit Lions and LA Rams, a playoff rematch. They went to overtime tied at 20, and the Lions got the ball first in the extra frame and wasted no time driving straight down the field. Game-winning touchdown by David Montgomery, and Detroit gets the win 26-20. First week of the NFL season wraps up tonight with Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets in San Francisco to play Christian McCaffrey and the 49ers. That game starts at 8:15 tonight on ESPN.
A Good Samaritan meets the man he helped save after a fiery crash. The connection they're forming months after the crash that brought them together.
Thousands came together in Raleigh to raise awareness for life-saving efforts. Their efforts to get more people to learn how to perform CPR.
And it's a nice start to the morning. Temperatures are in the 50s, comfortable all through the week until we get to the weekend. And then some rain rolls in. Some of that may be related to a developing tropical system. I'll show you coming up.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
6:13, and the sun's just beginning to light things up here in Clinton this morning. You may notice as we get through the day that there's a little bit of haze in the atmosphere. There are some wildfires up in Canada, and some of that smoke may filter down into our area today. It's not likely to cause any decrease in our air quality because it's likely to stay in the upper part of the atmosphere. Right now, 48 in Lewisburg, 58 in Fayetteville, 50 in South Hill, 57 in Goldsboro. It's a very pleasant feel as the kids are getting on the bus this morning, but they may be happy in a light jacket if they have to stand out at the bus stop for, 5-10 minutes or so. Lovely getting off the bus though this afternoon with temperatures in the low 80s with lots of sunshine and low humidity. We stay dry until Friday, wouldn't you know, and then we get back into a more unsettled pattern for the weekend. I'll show you coming up. Ken?
All right, Elizabeth, weather and traffic every 10 minutes so you can make an informed decision as you're about to head out this morning. Really quiet start to the morning commute right now. We're seeing nothing but green showing up on our maps. I want to isolate the Beltline because we're getting reports of a disabled vehicle down around the US 1 440 split there in Cary. We'll keep an eye on that to see if it's going to affect your morning commute at all. But all around the Beltline this morning, nothing but green showing up, and that's good news. And of course, Renee, we'll have another update in about 10 minutes.
Sounds good, Ken. Thank you. Now to an amazing story. A Good Samaritan in Roxborough is building a connection with the man he saved from a fiery crash earlier this year. Charles Croson was driving on NC 49 in January when the crash happened right in front of him. A tractor trailer and a car collided. Croson is an EMT student at Durham Tech, so he rushed into action and he pulled Tommy Stone out of that burning car. Stone suffered 20 broken bones. He was in the hospital for 7 weeks. He doesn't remember anything about the crash. Last weekend, he had a chance to meet Croson in person and thank him for saving his life.
When we talked, he had a lot of questions, of course. I answered everything that I could for him. Gave him some more information that he didn't have before. And basically, the best way I can describe it is it was like a surreal moment.
Stone lives in Louisville near Winston-Salem. Croson says he plans to stay in touch with him after that frightening experience they went through together.
A new housing project will open in Chapel Hill today. Orange County leaders will hold a ribbon cutting for the Wonderful House on Homestead Road. It's a 5-bedroom house that will have room for 6 people for up to 5 months' time to help them re-enter society after serving time in prison. It'll also be staffed 7 days a week with a case manager and peer support professionals. The ribbon cutting will be at 11 o'clock this morning.
Pope Francis is in East Timor today as he continues his 12-day journey across Southeast Asia. Francis left Papua New Guinea last night after 2 days there. His visit to East Timor comes after the 25th anniversary of the UN-backed referendum that paved the way for its independence from Indonesia. This is the longest trip the Pope has made since becoming Pope. He also plans to visit Singapore before returning to the Vatican.
Thousands of people turned out for the American Heart Association in Raleigh this weekend. The Triangle Heart Walk happened yesterday morning at PNC Arena. This year's theme was Community of Lifesavers. The American Heart Association says 9 out of 10 people who suffer cardiac arrest outside the hospital die. In most cases, bystander CPR is not done. The association wants to change that and turn bystanders into lifesavers.
It's a good time, good moment. I think more of this should go on here in North Carolina because we are a state of wellness and health.
WRAL is a proud community sponsor of the Triangle Heart Walk. I was there to MC the event yesterday morning. It was a beautiful day, and you can learn more about the American Heart Association and its work on WRAL.com if you just search Heart Walk. Very emotional for a lot of those folks as they are taking one step at a time in their recovery and winning at life. It was great to see. Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. It was great to see that nice weather too. Boy, it was great for a brisk walk yesterday morning.
It really was. And I know they appreciated you being there, Jeff. So it's good to see you out there. Yes, lovely morning this morning. Later this week, as we get into the weekend, we have the potential for some scattered rain, and it could come indirectly from Francine to be. It is likely to form later on today to be the first storm that we've seen in nearly 3 weeks, which is a little bit unusual for this time of year. This is typically the peak of our hurricane season. And coming up in our Fox newscasts, Chris Michaels is going to talk a little bit more about why that is. Gulf Coast landfall. It's likely to be way over here, possibly around Louisiana. So all of the impact is really going to be to the west and down along the Gulf Coast. We may see some rain locally, but nothing like what we saw during Debbie. So this is still just a potential tropical cyclone, but later on today it is likely to become Tropical Storm Francine. It is moving northwest at 5 miles per hour, winds at 50. So those winds would qualify it for a tropical storm, but it just doesn't have the closed circulation that are part of the requirements for a tropical system. When it does form later on today, it's likely to brush past the coast of Texas, potentially making landfall in Louisiana, and then moving directly up the Mississippi Valley. Let's talk about how much rain we may see with that. And right along the Gulf Coast, we could see as much as 10 inches of rain. But once it moves farther north, those red shaded areas are going to be maybe 3 to 5 inches of rain. Notice this little pocket that shows up there in the mountains of North Carolina where we could be seeing 3 to 5 inches of rain. But for us, it's looking much lower. The bulk of the rain, the heaviest potential for flooding, is definitely going to be down along the Gulf Coast, mainly in Louisiana. And we have that low risk for flooding in the mountains the next 5 days. But some of this is going to continue into Saturday and Sunday. Even so, we take our rainfall out for the next 7 days. And look at this. I mean, we're talking about 1/10 of an inch, maybe 1/4 of an inch down in some of our southern counties. So this does not look like a big rainmaker for us, but it could affect your weekend plans nonetheless. We have 2 more systems that are coming off the coast of Africa. The first one here at 70% has the potential to move west. And then at the very end of our computer model runs, it starts to make that northerly turn, but it is too early to tell whether or not it's going to affect the United States. At the very least, we'll be watching for potentially some impacts in terms of rip current danger. Check out our forecast here for the next several days. Fantastic. It feels great out. Nice cool mornings, nice warm afternoons with lots of sunshine. So, Ken, I don't know what we've done to deserve this. We should still be seeing 90-degre days this time of year, and it's been so nice.
We're just living right in this part of the world. All right, Elizabeth, thanks. And you might be living right this morning, too. Do you remember I told you about 10 minutes ago about that disabled vehicle at US 1 near the I-440 split? Now it's showing up on our map. As of course, you see our sensors. It's not causing any problems for you this morning, which is a good thing, so nothing to worry about. Elsewhere around the Triangle, around Wake County and surrounding communities, all the major routes are delay-free this morning. Let's go ahead and take you outside really quickly, show you I-40 and Jones Sausage Road. You can see traffic has picked up in both directions this morning, so just keep that in mind if you're about to head out, particularly if you're coming into the Garner area. Over in Durham, Chapel Hill, Hillsborough, all the major routes are delay-free at this hour.
Ken, thanks. It's time to say au revoir to the 2024 Summer Games in Paris, the grand ceremony that brought the Paralympics to an end and passed the torch to Los Angeles for 2028.
And a soccer legend calls it a career, how the North Carolina Courage put a little bit of a damper on U.S. legend Alex Morgan's last match. And here are your winning NC Education lottery numbers on your screen right now. We're back with what's trending next.
This What's Trending report, sponsored by Rug & Home.
The NFL season just started, but we already know who will be playing at the Super Bowl.
At least for the halftime show. We've got that figured out. Ken Smith here now with What's Trending, Ken.
Yeah, we've got that figured out, Jeff and Renee. Usher raised the bar at Super Bowl 58 in Vegas. Now it's Kendrick Lamar headlining the halftime show. The announcement dropping on social media just before the start of Sunday's games. Super Bowl 59 will be in New Orleans in February.
So if you remember Super Bowl 56, Kendrick Lamar came out with like Eminem, 50 Cent, Mary J. Blige. Like he came out and played this collaboration with a whole bunch of. Now he gets the show all to himself.
All to himself. Well, from football to tennis. American tennis star Taylor Fritz was in the U.S. Open final, and another Taylor visited cheer him on. Taylor Swift was in the house, or more specifically at Arthur Ashe Stadium, along with a couple of guys you might know, her boyfriend, Kansas City Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce, and quarterback Patrick Mahomes.
So Taylor cheering on Taylor. Interesting bucket hat, Travis. Okay. John Bon Jovi was also there, Matthew McConaughey, Martha Stewart, all these other celebs, but, well, cameras on them.
You know. It's a Taylor moment.
Does nobody recognize that bucket hat as Gucci? I mean, come on.
Oh,
well, he's working.
Jeff
Gucci.
knew.
He's working.
Yeah. Whatevs. Nice try, Travis. All right. Thanks, Ken. Historic night for women's soccer as San Diego Wave played the North Carolina Courage, and Alex Morgan took a bow, the final stop on the pitch for her career. She announced last week she will retire immediately. She's expecting her second child. Morgan lined up for a penalty kick right there in the 10th minute of the game, but Courage goalie Casey Murphy was there for the stop. A few minutes later, Morgan left the game, waved goodbye to her fans, and that was that. And after that, it was all Courage. They got goals from 4 different players on their way to a 4-1 win. Kind of a spoiler.
Tomorrow night's jackpot in the Mega Millions drawing is up to $800 million. The cash out value would be more than $400 million. You can watch the next drawing live tomorrow night on WRAL at 11. Some elementary school students in our area will go through metal detectors on their way to class today. The new safety measures at Nash County schools.
And it feels great as you're stepping out the door. If you're headed out to walk the dog this morning, you may need just a little light jacket with temperatures in the 50s. We have a gorgeous afternoon in our forecast. I'll show you how long we'll see this Goldilocks weather.
The mayor of Apex says he's trying to find some answers for people whose water bills are spiking in the Peak City. Why he says some people are getting bills up to $1,000 for their service.